Three little nominees. Once upon a time, there were three nominees. One day their mother said, "You are old enough to run for president now. It is time for you to go out into America and run in the midterm elections and primaries in this critical election." And then the mommy pig says, "Don't forget about super PACs. They can help you win with your campaign." The three nominees were very patriotic. They walked together as far as the crossroads and they parted to their party's national convention. They were all to be selected to be their party's nominee. One nominee called out to the others, "Watch for fake news. Twitter can be a real gatekeeper. May the best man win this winner-take-all election." And you have the Republicans going that way and the Democrats going that way. He ignored the past and what Citizens United versus FEC had taught him and built his campaign anyways. The first little pig always did things in a mixed way. He built his ideologies out of current affairs and views. His views are more focused toward a younger demographic. He is called an independent. He does not identify as a Republican nor a Democrat. He could not get the retrospective voters on his side. One day he saw the wicked COVID-19 walking across the field. "Ooh," cried the first little nominee and ran inside his party's convention. The COVID-19 knocked at the door and called, "Open the door, little nominee, and let me in." He wanted the nominee for his dinner. McCain-Feingold tried to warn him he had spent too much on his campaign. The first nominee shivered and shook. "By the hair on my chinny chin chin, I will not open the door and let you come in. Then I will huff and I will puff and I will blow your house down," growled COVID-19. And he huffed and he puffed until the house of straw blew away. And that was the end of the first little nominee. COVID-19 and the PACs using funds against his campaign sent him out of the ring. The second nominee was a Democrat. His independent expenditures gained him popularity. He built himself on more radical beliefs and constitutional changes. It was full of new ideas. He needed young, prospective voters to win. And there's a donkey for the Democrat logo. One day he saw the wicked COVID-19 walking along the woodland path. "Ooh," cried the second nominee and ran inside his party's convention. The COVID-19 knocked at the door and called, "Open the door, little nominee, and let me in." He wanted the nominee for his dinner. And then the rabbits are like watchdogs because they're watching like the media. The second nominee shivered and shook. By the hair on my chin chin, I will not open the door and let you come in. Then I will huff and I will puff and I will blow your house down, growled COVID-19, and he huffed and puffed until the Democratic campaign tumbled down. And that was the end of the second nominee. His federal election commissions were dried up because of the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1974. The third little nominee always did everything conservatively, even if it took him a long time. He built his ideology on small government. He was also a member of the NRA, which is a single interest group. He also was in the Second Amendment caucus. He gained rational choice theory voters from this. One day he saw wicked COVID-19 walking down the hill. "Ooh," cried the third nominee and ran inside his party's convention. Fox News had been covering this election with horse race journalism. They said it could cause a real political realignment. The third nominee shivered and shook. "By the hair on my chinny chin chin, I will not open the door and let you free rider come in. Then I will huff and I will puff and I will blow your house down," growled COVID-19. And he huffed and he puffed and then he huffed and then he puffed again. The wicked COVID-19 huffed and he puffed until he was quite out of breath. The Republican nominee stood as firm and had won the presidential election. He had gained the party line voters. If he wanted to tear down the president, he would have to kill more Americans. Meet me in the Iron Triangle, where we will be passing bills to kill off the COVID-19. The president knew how crafty and full of tricks the COVID-19 was, so the next morning he got up very early. He went to Wall Street to check on the stock market crash. When COVID-19 got to Wall Street and saw that he was gone, he knew that the president had tricked him. He was very angry. He had tried not to show it. He went back into the White House and knocked at the door. "Are you going to Wall Street tomorrow?" he called in his most sly voice. "Yes, I am," said the president. "Then I will meet you at 8 o'clock and we can talk there together," said COVID-19. "Do not be late." The president got up very early indeed the next morning. "I will be home from Wall Street before the COVID-19 is even awake," he said. But he was wrong because he got up early too. The president was very frightened when he saw COVID-19 coming up the hill. He hid inside a federal bond, which was standing beside the road. The president began to roll. It rolled down the hill faster and faster and faster. It bumped into the COVID-19 and sent him sprawling. "Ooh," cried COVID-19. He could not believe his eyes when he saw the president hop from the federal bond and run into the White House and slam the door. He was very angry indeed. If he could not catch the president outside the White House, then he would have to get into the house. If the president would not let him in through the door, then he would have to go down the chimney. The president heard the COVID-19 scrambling about the roof. "That wicked COVID-19 will never catch me," he cried. He put a pot full of water on fire and waited. The rumbling and grumbling and the chimney got louder, and then suddenly there was a great big splash. The wicked COVID-19 had fallen straight into the pot, and that was the end of him, and the president lived happily ever after. The end.